Just did my fourth sketch and wanted to bring you in. I think this is my most successful sketch this afternoon so far. Oh boy, it's way into the afternoon. Time flies when you're doing art. Here's the photograph from which I was working. Of course, this is the farm where I set up yesterday afternoon. They did a really quick 9 by 12 inch painting. So that's the sketch, that's the photograph, and here's several changes, of course, I've made to it. Now, one improvement I made in my technique is I tried to limit my dependence on a pencil for drawing and texture. I think that helped me to just lay down with a half-inch brush, which is a fairly large brush for a painting this size. Just lay down the large areas, and several things about this I think are working. Now, here again is the test. The goal is to have 3 tones, light, medium, dark, and 2 of the 3 should be contiguous. Either the light and mediums, all connected, with darks being the third man out, or the mediums and darks being connected with the lights, or the lights and darks connected in the midtone. I hope that made sense. And what I have here is certainly all the midtones are connected. The dark tones are not connected. The dark is here, here, and here. Again, I think this is large enough to qualify as a dark zone. I'm just thinking, now if I made that midtone, well, let's think about that. If we made this a midtone, let me do this. I don't know if this will work or not. Hold the brush in front of that. Nah, I'm squinting. If that was mid instead of dark, would that improve the composition? You know, it might. But before I do that, though, I had one other thought. So the way it is right now, definitely have lights here and light here, not connected, not connected. So 3 areas of light not connected. The mids are all connected, but the darks and the lights are not connected. Now, this looks like a pretty good composition to me, so maybe this is proof that of course, every rule can be broken, but maybe, this indicates not always. But before I jump to that, let's experiment a little bit. I think I can do this without ruining the painting. First of all, I would love to have the front of this tree catching a good bit of sunlight. That makes for a good picture, right? So that would mean we could connect then through the trunk of that tree. We could connect at least tenuously, at least a thread of connection. And I don't know if this counts or not. Is that a large enough light area to call these 2 connected? Let's proceed. If so, then they are. But here's even more tenuous than that. What would happen if I came down here and did I think I'm straining at a gnat, don't you? And did a pillar or a post. How about 2 of them down here that connect? And again, I have a sense that I'm being too, fussy in this. But I want to see if it would work. See if even just that much helps. Well, what I've done now is I've divided up, haven't I? If I count this as a connector, then it has to also count as a divider between these 2 areas. So let me do one more trick. I talked a few minutes ago, would this be a better composition if this were a mid-tone here instead of a dark? Now there could still be details, of course. We can still call this a barn. There can still be stuff happening back here. Okay, what do you think? I turned a dark into a mid, and I connected the lights. So the lights are connected, and the midtones are almost connected. Maybe we can call this a connection. Again, I fear I'm being too fussy. But is it better now than it was just a few minutes ago? By the way, there could be, of course, a skinny line here separating those posts from the roof. We're only talking about dark areas. We're not talking about lines. It's still a good composition. I like the white on the tree simply because that's dramatic lighting and so on. That'll work well. Now, one of the things I can do is I can come in here and do, of course, sky holes. And probably can get away with a line of light there, and so on. Yeah, a little bit of texture without getting carried away. We have a new term. Toby came up with this. Toby from Germany. Sky holes poorly rendered turn into sky dots. Sorry, I still think that's hilarious. So we don't want sky dots, do we? We do not want sky dots. We want sky holes. Okay, well, for one thing, I'm happy with the composition. I'm quite happy with it. This will be a painting. As to whether, you know, it's have we improved it by connecting the lights and making one area mid instead of dark? Maybe. Which means this painting would be the midtones are all connected, the lights are all connected, and the darks are separate, which we, according to that rule, we could have kept that dark. Okay, we're going back the other way. Hang on to your seatbelt. At least you know you know, this is a real experiment. I'm not doing this for camera. It's not like I have figured this all out. Let's go back to a dark area right there. See if we like that any better. Just so happens what I have on my brush is darker than what was there previously. So let me catch up some of the other dark zones, get them to the same degree of darkness. So once again, if the rule is 2 of the 3 need to connect, and in this sketch, the mids connect and the lights connect, and the darks are separated. The darks are, in a sense, the accent. Be that as it may, that's a nice sketch. Let's take a look at it with the tape off. It's always kind of fun. This is like, it's like Christmas time unwrapping a gift, isn't it? Ooh, let's see what, I'm like a little kid. I want to see what it's going to look like. I don't have time to wait for it to dry. What are you talking about? Oh, let me mention something else here before I go. This rule I credit to Bob Rankin, a very, very, very good painter, friend of mine here in Raleigh, North Carolina, almost a mentor. And he calls it boundary ratios. He's talking about the boundary of any painting, which typically are 4, if it's a square rectangle painting. And you don't want, generally, you want a different number of large shapes along each boundary. For instance, over here, we have white, gray, black, and gray. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, sorry. Once again, my YouTube turned off. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to repeat everything I just said. But there's my finished sketch. And Angelo DiMartino, thank you for joining and speaking up. Been watching you for a while. Learned so much from you, and I'm forever grateful. One question: composition only deal with landscape? Oh, no. Good question. No, composition applies to everything. Everything. Still lifes, portraits, abstract, everything. Yep, exactly, Toby. You got it. Subject is irrelevant. That's exactly right. Composition. I just happen to be doing landscapes right now. I do more landscapes than anything, but it's because I've been doing a week of old farmhouses. Okay, thanks guys for watching. Thanks Angela for giving a good question, and I'll be back in a little while with the next installment.